What's going on, folks? Nate here at Dyno, and as promised, we're back today with our new 2024 MT-09, but this time we've got the full LeoVince exhaust installed. And as you just saw from that quick run on the dyno, this outlet is actually perfectly pointed to my tripod and almost knocked the phone over and the camera over when I was recording that quick run, which I find funny because that almost never happens. But either way, this is the full Leo that we've got on the bike, and from a fit and finish standpoint, it's actually pretty damn cool. The reason I was curious about this particular pipe is because it has a collector design that much more mirrors the OEM collector design, which the other two pipes we've tested so far do not. And it's also obviously a low mount or belly exit pipe. This thing is short, but it is not loud whatsoever. There is quite a bit of baffling going on in here in this giant resonator box, and it actually works incredibly well. This thing, I would say, is at least 7 or 8 decibels quieter than the full Yosh, and it's even quieter than the full Acra, which comes all the way out back to about there. So if you want a full exhaust, you're looking for a quieter system, good choice. But how does it perform? So once we installed the pipe this morning, we still have the mapping in the ECU for the full Yosh exhaust system. And you can see down there, if you look at the AFRs, it is really darn flat. Now, some of you are gonna go, oh, but that's run 7, you already made some changes. No, I did not. I was literally just burning the frickin' packing oil off of this thing. You can see all I did was just run it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And there at run 7, once it finally got up to temp and stopped just stinking like packing oil, it made that. And that is really damn close to the airflow that we had coming out of the full Yoshimura system, because there's one spot there and there where it's maybe like 3 or 4% richer than I'd like to see it, but it's really, really close. Now, obviously, when we're building mapping on the dyno, I don't settle for within 3 or 4%. I want perfect, so that's exactly what we did. We trimmed up the fueling, and here's the final result. 115.6 horsepower and 65.8 foot-pounds of torque, and the fuel curve does not get flatter or more perfect than that. So not only is it significantly quieter than the Akrapovic exhaust system, it's shorter, which aesthetically looks nicer just with the lines of the bike, and it's like 2 horsepower more. It's not quite as cool of a performer as the Yoshimura was, which I didn't really expect it to be because A, the collector design and the header design are completely different than the Yoshimura exhaust system, and B, there's a lot of baffling going on in that resonator, which is why it's so quiet. But you're still picking up a ton of performance for a pipe that's just not massively louder than stock. It's louder, but it's not, you know, real loud like that Yoshimura was. And just so you guys can visualize that improvement over stock, I went ahead and overlaid run 10 there, which is the blue line, and our baseline on this bike when it was bone stock, the stock exhaust, stock ECU mapping, stock everything, and how it's sitting right now at 115.5 horsepower and 65.81 foot-pounds of torque. And you can see up there at the top end where the ETV limiters were previously in place, there's a pretty significant jump there. You're talking about 12 horsepower from an exhaust system and an ECU flash, and with this one in particular, it's just not that much louder. And again, I really hate getting lost in the weeds. A lot of people are like, you know, which one's the best performer for my bike and blah, blah, blah. And I've covered that, like, I don't know how many times in different videos, that they're all going to be within a couple horsepower of each other when proper mapping is in place. But in this particular case, because I just had a different pipe on this yesterday and now I've got this on here today, I will go ahead and show you the difference between the full Yoshimura system and this full LeoVince system, because while they're within about 1.5 ponies at the top end, there is a section through the mid-range where the Yosh does perform significantly better. Now, oddly enough, our what I call glory runs here for these bikes were both run 20. So the blue line here that you're going to see is the LeoVince system, and the red line there is the Yoshimura. And you can see right there, 8,500 RPMs. The Yosh did make a solid 3 horsepower more and 2 foot-pounds of torque more. Again, right there, kind of in the meat of the RPM range, and at the largest torque hump right there at 8,500, because it just flows more air, which honestly, for a system that's as quiet as this LeoVince's, I kind of expected that. Now, a lot of folks are thinking, cool, these are all $1,000 exhaust systems. Maybe you don't want to spend $1,000 on a full exhaust on your bike. I don't blame you. So, one of our potential customers, at least I hope he's going to be a customer soon, asked us yesterday in one of our videos going, hey, why don't you try out one of the knockoff systems or one of the China systems to see how it performs? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to. Thanks to the magic of Amazon, this is actually the first exhaust system that I had show up here at the shop once we went ahead and bought our new bike. And I've had this sitting there in the corner for about the last 2 weeks now, and we're going to go ahead and throw it on, and I think a lot of folks will be surprised at how well these knockoff China pipes perform with proper tuning in place. Because, again, before we even install it, I can tell you, it's going to be fucking loud, but it's going to work great. And I don't think we even paid $200 for it. So in the next video that I'm going to try to get done here either later today or first thing next week, we're going to swap out this guy for that guy, and we'll be sure to post the results once we get the air fuel properly dialed in for the difference in the flow that this exhaust system provides. And as always, it wouldn't be one of our videos if I didn't remind you that if you have any questions whatsoever about getting your new 2024 MT-09 properly tuned and dialed in, do not hesitate to email us at support@tooldynoworks.com. Our ECU flash for these bikes is on sale on our website for $349.99, and I can guarantee that you will not find higher quality, more refined custom ECU mapping for your specific exhaust system anywhere else than right here at Tool Dyno Works, and that is a guarantee.